feel that this season has gone off the rails because Michael Malone left the team for a couple days in October to go? Well, what are you saying? What are you saying?
I'm saying,
why is this team in the situation that they're in that Michael Malone just got fired yesterday?
So I said when he left the team, it's a bad message to send to the team. Okay, you're sending the message to the team that, you know what, this regular season game early in the season doesn't matter. So my other issue was now when you get up in front of the team and you start preaching to them and you calling them soft and you're telling them they're not playing hard, they're going to look at you and say, well, remember that game in week 5? It's slowly, there's a culture there, Mike. A culture. You build a winning tradition, a foundation. You can't say this game matters here because it's game 72, game 25, but the 5th game of the year doesn't matter. It doesn't work that way.
Stoke, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Stoke.
No, it doesn't.
If you come on, I assume you've been paying attention to the NBA over the last several years.
I have.
It is a message that's being sent repeatedly by NBA teams and coaches that some games do not matter as much as others. Have you not seen load management? Have you not seen teams and coaches send a very clear message by saying, we're not playing our best players tonight? We are telling you, not only the fans, but we're telling the other players going out there tonight that this game doesn't matter as much because we're not going to play our best players by choice. So how can you make this argument when all you see around the NBA is load management and guys being given nights off?
Why are you
and
doing
the message is being sent?
So
why
are you load managing guys? So you can win in the future. So you can keep guys healthy. This is totally different. How many coaches have missed games this year to go watch their child play a sporting event or go to a choir concert, et cetera, et cetera? How many NBA coaches have? How many?
I can't tell you right off the top of my head.
Zero.
Zero? You're going to go with 0 on that. There are no coaches that missed a game for any kind of family reasons.
Well,
there are no other coaches in the NBA.
If you have a funeral, people understand.
Well, I know that.
Okay.
Birth
but
of a
if you're
child,
going to a volleyball game, it's a little bit different.
All right.
So
I'll give you credit. You've done a great job of making this the centerpiece of your argument. Why do you think ultimately at the end of the day Michael Malone was fired?
Sometimes things just run their course. Sometimes it just runs its course, right? And they've had a lot of success together. And I think at certain points, if you're running the show, you look at it and say, okay, do we think that we're going to get better here moving forward? And you give it some time, and it doesn't get better, and it's only getting worse. And you just decide enough's enough. So I just think it's one of those things where it ran its course. I mean, did the players stop listening to him? Okay, maybe so. Maybe the message got stale. Sometimes you need a new voice, new energy, right? And so maybe that was the case. I don't know. Why do you think?
Oh, I think he got fired because the players tuned him out. Yeah. Oh, I think that ultimately happened. But whose fault is that? I mean, what was the message that was so heinous that it was something that the players should tune out? His message was play harder. Oh my Lord. What a bastard. Man, that guy, he's so mean. He was asking millionaires to play hard. And he had the evidence to back it up every single night. We watched it. If you watched the games, you saw it. You saw the complete lack of effort. It would be one thing. And for those that say that Malone doesn't make adjustments, you tell me on this Nuggets team, okay, who the guys are, key guys that they rely upon, that you can just tell are just gifted in a way that you can tell that physically they can go out and be a defensive nightmare. Like you look at the reigning champions right now, the Celtics. They got guys that are long and very quick and athletic. They got guys like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White. They got guys who know how to play defense. They are really gifted defensive players. The Nuggets only have a couple of gifted defensive players. So what does that mean? When you are not naturally gifted to be able to go out and play defense, then you know what you better do? You better play your ass off. And that's the problem with the Nuggets. And so to the texture's point about, Nikola Jokic and some of his deficiencies on defense, you're right. Nikola Jokic is not a gifted defensive player. Jamal Murray's not a gifted defensive player. Michael Porter Jr. is not a gifted defensive player. You know what you better do when you're not a gifted defensive player? and there isn't these magic X's and O's to draw up, then you better play your ass off. And they didn't this year.
Well, so what do you do? So what do you do right now? So, okay, you can't fire all the players. You keep wanting to blame the players. We understand that. We understand the players haven't lived up to what their contracts are. That happens all the time. But players aren't getting fired. I hear you, Mark, over there smacking away. Welcome to the show, Mark Schlereth.
Thank you, buddy. I'm just enjoying the conversation.
Oh man, you should have heard it earlier. Fireworks. Yeah. Our first fight.
Our first fight.
Yeah, first fight. Daddy.
Really?
Yeah. Stepdaddy came home and had to put his foot down here. So Evans wants to blame the players, but that's the problem. Okay, I got it. That's what always happens here. But someone has to pay the price, and it's never the players.
You're right.
Not in basketball, not in baseball. Okay, these are guaranteed contracts. Yep. Okay, so now you look at it and say, all right, they're not listening. Should they be listening? Yes. That's beside the point. So now we have to do something different. You have to do something different to try to change it up.
And what I'm saying, Stink, is I completely understand knowing the way it works in sports. Stokes 100% right. You can't fire the entire team. The best thing you can do is you can fire the coach. I understand why Michael Malone was fired, but all I'm pointing out is what the real problem is, okay? I understand why he was fired. I understand why he's gone, but let's also not lose sight of what the real problem is. And you got a bunch of players on this team that just refuse to be professionals, and it's why these moves were made yesterday. Let's just be completely honest.
You go back to your defensive point. You don't have to be talented to play defense. You just got to give great effort like that, and the fact that you don't want to do that. The other thing is, and I've heard this a bunch. Talked to Eddie House today. Talked to a bunch of different people just about the Nuggets in general. And you know what's interesting to me is, you talk about Michael Malone tuning people out. Michael Malone has been, taking the team to task for multiple years now. And for multiple years, the Nuggets responded. For multiple years, they were okay. It goes back to something that Chuck Daly said years and years ago that you pointed out, Mike, many times on this show. You have to get the players' permission to coach you. And they had it for a while. But all of a sudden this year, and I don't know why, all of a sudden this year, it's as though the players said, you no longer have permission. We want a championship. You no longer have permission to coach us. You no longer have permission to air us out in public. You no longer have permission to do these things. And, Mike, one thing you know this with players, like Michael Malone doesn't get fired if Joker puts his foot down and says, no, you're not firing my guy. So, at some point, they got the players to sign off on this, right?
Well, I don't know about the players. You just needed one, really. I mean,
okay, the player. How about the player, Stoke?
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to make this move without at least telling them, informing them. I would think that you would want his input, certainly, because that's how much he means to this organization. But, Mark, for me, and this I got to give you credit, and I'm giving myself credit because I think this thing started, who knows when it started, but we brought up when Michael Malone, remember when he missed the game for the volleyball game?
Yeah.
Remember that? And it was us two who stood up and said, this is ridiculous. This is a terrible message to send to your team. And, now all of a sudden you want them to play hard in game 60 when you told them game 5 doesn't matter. And so you slowly start eroding the culture. And now all of a sudden, hey, you know what? Yeah, no, you can miss it for that. You can miss it for that. But, hey, I want you to play tough. I want you to play hard defense tonight. We need to win this game. So, all of a sudden, everything that you built starts crumbling. And now you look up and, you were just number 2 in the West a couple weeks ago. You've lost 4 in a row. You're in danger of being in the play-in game. This stuff happens. Culture, winning, it can be gone quickly in sports.
Yeah, it erodes quickly. There is no question. Culture is one of those things. It's a word, a buzz term that everybody throws around. But I'm telling you, if you are not working on your culture every single day, it will erode to the least common denominator. That's how culture works. So whatever's the easy way out, if we're not working on it every single day, it's a great point, Stoke. I completely forgot you and I were all over this at the beginning of this year. I totally forgot We saw this coming. You and I predicted it, basically. Mike was nowhere to be found. He was like, no, it's okay to go to volleyball games. Woohoo, yeah.
Zach,
everybody gets a ribbon. Have you guys watched my swing? It's a sweet swing. I play softball. I don't know if you've heard.
He's not happy. Hey, Mark.
So let me just to go back here and look. So when he missed that game, the Nuggets went into that game with a 7-3 record.
Yeah.
All right. So you're saying now. So they're sitting here right now at 47-32. So since that game, what's the math here? They've gone 40 and 29.
It's not about that.
So you're saying this season. Point. So you're saying this season went off the rails, starting with Michael Malone missing a game on November 15th to go to his daughter's volleyball game.
No, that's not the point. See,
well, then I guess what is your point?
The point is, for the 20th time, that when you start setting that precedent, that you know what, this game doesn't matter, this minute doesn't matter, it slowly erodes your message. Okay. So now, would they have won 5 more games if he went to – I'm not saying that, okay? So we're just going to say it, you know what, you can do whatever you want. Now all of a sudden Michael Porter Jr. is missing games for personal reasons. What were the personal reasons? I don't know what they were. I didn't see. So it's like, is this important or not? That's the bottom line, okay? Is it important to you or is it not? Where is it at on your list of importance? It's basketball damn season. I don't know. None of my coaches ever just took off and just missed a game. No? Okay. It's not a big deal. They play 82 of them. It's not until it is a big deal. Until you look up at the end of the season and this thing is moving in the wrong direction and everyone's telling me, well, hey, the players ain't listening to the coach anymore. Well, why? You got to ask yourself why. Okay? And there's a standard to set. And when you are the captain of the ship, Michael Malone's the captain, you set the standard. And when your standards start slipping a little bit, the guys that you were trying to get to play hard for you and win for you, guess what? It might slip from them too.
Nice speech, and I love the passion behind it. But you're still telling me that as a professional athlete, paid millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, some of these guys, you're telling me that what we've watched most of the season, their lack of defensive effort, it's evident to anybody who watches the games. It's evident in the stats. You're telling me that these guys, even if they were, okay, let's say they were a little bit bothered by him taking a game off to go to his volleyball.
I'm not saying bothered. They might not even been bothered.
Okay, but
that's
you're
besides
still,
the point.
You're still not self-motivated. You still are not understanding that as your job, your profession, what you're paid millions of dollars to do, you can't just
Why
summon.
Are you asking me?
You can't just summon. You just
that?
can't summon that up by yourself. You need to be told to do it, Stink.
Mike, at one point, right, when you don't have a ring, when you don't have a championship, right, when those things don't exist, like, and your coach is spurring you on or airing you out or whatever, right? And you're chasing something that you don't have, that's okay, right? You can deal with it. If you're a mature player and you have a ring, you know what? You can also handle that coach airing you out and that coach being disappointed in your performance and that coach pointing it out. But if you already are sated by your success, which I assume it just looks on the outside looking in that the Nuggets are satisfied because they won a championship and nobody thought they could win a championship here in Denver. You mentioned the numbers. 7-3. What percentage is 7-3?
70%.
Get 70%, right? What percentage is 40-29? 57%. I rest my case, Mike. I'm not a mathematician.
But your point here is a fresh one that we haven't talked about yet in this show. So please expand on it. Do you think that this is a group of guys, and I'll point specifically to Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon?
Yeah.
3 guys who won a championship and all got paid, and now they've dialed it back. They're not as hungry as they were before they won the championship and before they got paid. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's basically what I am saying is once they won a championship, like they have not had the same response to what Michael Malone is saying. And I can only assume the reason they haven't responded is because they've got that ring and they're okay. Now, I know there's infighting within the organization. Calvin Booth wants to play the young guys. Michael Malone likes to play veterans. Yada, yada, yada. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Angry, 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 whatever. But the bottom line, man, again, and I've said this, in my great speech when I single-handedly won Super Bowl 32, Mike. I called the team together. You know the story. I don't even like to talk about it.
I know.
I don't like to talk
I
about it.
always have to beg you. Please, Nick, tell the story about how you saved the Broncos' first Super Bowl.
But Stoke, let me just tell you, Stoke, like one of the things that I talked about at length in this incredible meeting where I had everybody sign an NDA because I don't want it out there. I don't want it in public. You know that, right? One of the things that I talked about is playing for each other. And looking at those things, I can't even remember. I lost my train of thought. I was so great at this
You said
time.
something about, I remember because I've heard the story once, is that you said, this has nothing to do with Mike Shanahan. This has nothing to do with our coaches.
Right,
If they went out there and played, they would pee their pants, okay? This isn't about them, it's about us. All right, now take it.
Right. So it is your responsibility as a player. Thank you, Mike. It's your responsibility. My greatness. I was just overwhelmed and reminiscing about my greatness.
Get to the point. You're going to forget again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Mike. Good call. Good call, Stoke. That's a great call, Stoke. Yeah, like my whole thing is, dude, you got to take ownership. Nuggets, players, that's your team. Like if Michael Malone is airing you out, look at yourself critically and go, why is he airing me out? Oh, because I'm soft. Oh, because I suck. Oh, because we're not playing hard. Oh, because we're coached by a defensive coach and we're one of the worst defenses in all the NBA. That's on you guys. It's not on him.
No, certainly. I mean, it's the players got to go out there and do it ultimately, and especially guys that are making that type of money. But that's part of the problem sports in 2025. If guys want to shut it down or just dial back a little bit, guess what can you do about it? If you're the Denver Nuggets or if you're Michael Malone, that's why you got to try to have the right guys that are going to continue to be motivated because you got fully guaranteed contracts. Right? And so that money's being – baseball, same thing. I think it was Mark or whoever, it might have been you, Mike, talked about Randone. Guy got $200 and something million contract from the Angels, and he just doesn't even love baseball.
Came out and said, I really don't like baseball.
He's just tapped out pretty much.
Right.
He's going to get all his money. Nothing you can do about that, right? So football, at least you have a little bit more motivation because it's not fully guaranteed contracts, but there's only so much you can do.
All right, so guys, and I was looking forward to having both of you here because I wrote this down. This is the question I want to ask. What do these moves, firing Michael Malone and Calvin Booth, you're effectively condemning the coaching staff and the front office. What do these moves tell you, the owners, Josh and Stan Kroenke, feel about these players? How do they feel about this team? What are these moves? They condemn the coach. They condemn the guy who put the team together. So what do these moves tell you about the players? How do they feel about the players?
Can't do anything about the players. Can't do anything. You got what you got. That's it. You can't make any trades right now, any moves. We're trying to win a championship. You know what? And we're not going to win a championship with those two guys. That's what it tells me.
Stink?
Yeah, I agree with Stoke. The other thing is, hey, man, my players, they need a new voice. I have to – the infighting is not good. The fighting between should we play young guys, should we play older veterans and all that stuff. And, so ultimately you're going to give them Adelman's going to give them a new voice, and we're going to see exactly how they respond. It'll be interesting to see if all of a sudden they start playing hard, playing defense, and doing those things. They're doing the things that Michael Malone was asking them to do, but they just decided not to do. So that'll be interesting for me. Oh, hey, by the way, guys, walking through, I had my first workout yesterday since my heart surgery. Okay, and pretty much my first lifting session, Stoke, since probably October when I really started having some heart issues. Walking back in the streets of New York, it was like a Seinfeld episode. I saw a former Bronco like a former legendary Bronco in the streets of New York.
Really?
And
just cruising down. Well, what did the workout have to do with seeing the former Bronco player in New York? Why did you have to say?
I was coming back. I was coming. It's the part of the story. See,
you could have just said.
You still have to.
I was walking down the streets of New York City.
Exactly.
Start there.
Oh, I was bench pressing and just getting this great. I haven't gotten a workout in a while, but man, it was a great.
Good job,
right.
Stoke.
Thank you.
Hey, listen. Denver wants to know about my workout schedule. They want to know.
What are you benching right now?
I'm kind of a big deal.
It's all like not
Okay,
heavy.
I really wasn't that interested. Who did you see in the streets?
Who was it?
I'll tell you guys.
Oh, coming up
when we come back.
Oh,
look at you,
Mr.
Mr. TV guy with
man!
the tease.
I'll tell you what. If Zach By could only do 4 or 5 more teases like that, he might be at Mark's level.
Oh my gosh! And then Evans comes in. Oh my gosh! Look at y'all two.
All right. Who was the Bronco that Mark Schlereth encountered in the streets of New York?
Oh, we're going to play a game, by the way. You guys are going to have to put down 3 guys each and see if you can guess who it was.
All right.